Hi guys, or whoever is on at the moment. Not too many. If you want to know what we'll be doing today, hope you're all hearing me fine. So the idea is to investigate the DShop architecture. DShop is a tutorial on writing microservices in .NET Core, and they have a YouTube series that I've been following now for some time, and the idea now today is to dive into the code and see what they're doing and get it up and running. That's one, and then maybe if we do understand it then the idea is to maybe run it on a local Kubernetes or something like that. That might be the idea. So yeah, if you do want to join in, let me know in chat and then we'll dive in. Okay, so let's see. I've heard there is a presentation mode nowadays in LiveShare, in Visual Studio Code, that is. Was it presentation mode? Presentation? No. It was something else. Anyway, maybe I need to ramp up the font size there. Yeah, zoom in. Oh, really? Okay. There's no shortcut for that one. There probably is. Okay, so the thing is, I started getting some notes for each of the streams, and the last stream I ran into an issue running Nomad on Windows, and the error there is that Docker on Windows seems to have a volume mounting problem when you're running Linux containers, and well, apparently for Nomad that's an issue, and I tried to investigate that issue further when I was trying this one out, and apparently they don't support it. So the is that opening? Yeah, that's opening here. So let me grab that one. So they on Nomad they said, okay, we want to have support for Linux images in Docker for Windows, and the end idea there is, yeah, we don't do it. We don't support it, so that's a bummer. What I wanted to do is have my Visual Studio compile whatever services needed at that certain point, and then create a Nomad job to send it to Nomad and have it running 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instances. But apparently that's not going to be the case when we're running on Windows. It's probably going to run fine when we're doing the same thing on Linux. We tried that. We did the getting started part of Nomad on an Ubuntu machine last stream, and that apparently seemed to be working perfectly. But if you want to do the same thing on Windows, that's not going to happen. So, okay. Well, too bad. So what we want to do now is go to devmentors.io, and they have a YouTube series on. Did I put that in a playlist? Yeah, I did do it in a playlist. Great.
Hello, this is Gilda.
So what they have is a series of videos describing their architecture on .NET Core. So what they try to do is make a web shop, some sort of web shop, and do it all in microservices. And yeah, write in .NET Core, so they had to tackle a couple of problems they had along the way, and we'll be investigating that code now today. So let's have a look. So we go to the GitHub page and try to figure out, I know I want to have the global one, which is this one. All of the microservices are in different repositories, and what they offer, or what they try to offer, is a RESTful API written in .NET Core, following DDD principles, and they have SQL or NoSQL supports. I think the main one, and the one they show in the videos at least, is the one using MongoDB. Distributed caching system with Redis, and they wrote an API gateway. There's some basic GWT authentication in there, and they try to get information back through SignalR back to the UI. What we'll mainly see is indeed CQRS, so command query responsibility segregation. And they do all that communication through through a message queue in the back, which is running RabbitMQ. They tested out with RESTEase, which is a library that dive into that one. So that's a client library for .NET, a type-safe one, so they can use the REST API. So that's useful there. And then they use a couple of HashiCorp tools like Console and Vault. They're doing monitoring with AppMetrics, Grafana, Prometheus, and Jaeger. Logging is built in automatically. They did define a couple of Docker Compose stacks, which we'll be using today. And yeah, deploying them through Linux servers, configuring Nginx. I don't think that's in there yet. And then they want to use Portainer or Rancher built on Kubernetes to deploy it. As far as I've seen in the code, it's not there yet either. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, so they want us to clone these repositories and put them together in the same working directory. So I kind of did that already, but I want to start from scratch here now. So I did rename this one to old and start from scratch. So that'll be something like this. And then clone up the first one. Hi there, Robert. How you doing? Always in for some extra support. That's great. That's great. Kind of missed the main part of your stream there today. But at the end, I saw you get the whole thing working there. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's see. Let's clone this one. Fire up terminal. Go to the right directory. So it'll be dev GitHub, and then the D. That one. Okay. Okay, so that should be there. as the main one, and I know there's a couple of scripts in there. So let's find out. I think if I do remember, let's open that one in VS Code, right? Start out from scratch. Open that folder. And there is a clone all, which is bash. So I think I do think I need to start it from here. So git clone all. Let's see what that comes up with. Okay, that's cool. Where is it putting all those? Yeah, here of course. So that's going to be that folder alone. Okay, we'll move that one folder up. Well, the dev oven, as you call it today, is we're going to be investigating that DShop library there. Well, library, architecture, microservices in .NET Core, and hopefully we can then start deploying that to something like Kubernetes. What I'd like to do is do it on Docker Kubernetes for Windows, so the Docker for desktop. I fired that one all up already, so Kubernetes is running, and if we do understand the architecture and we know what everything is doing, then we can start moving from the Docker Compose, which they have here, which is just going to be running one instance of each Docker image. That's not this one I wanted to see, I wanted the other one. So they do have a Docker Compose with all the different bits and pieces in there. And the idea is now, okay, how do you, because that's great for local development, right? But if you want to be running this one in production, just having one instance is just not going to cut it. So let's see how we can convert these Docker Compose setup to something like Kubernetes and have like 3, 4, 5 extra instances of this one running. But first we got to get it up and running, and then we have to understand how it works, right? So okay, that checkout completed apparently. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you didn't miss too much, Ancient Coder. Glad to see you there. Okay, so we got this one up. Let's see what's in there. So we got a couple of extra repositories checked out here. So what does it do, basically? So we checked it out. What sort of scripts we should be compiling this, right? And I hope there are not any build errors in there. So let's fire up Visual Studio and open the solution and see what's in there. Oh, fired up the preview. Yeah, we'll do it in a preview, sure. Okay, so open that solution. Dev, GitHub, this one folder too deep, I'll move that one and open up that solution. Well, yeah, I am a .NET developer. I'm also a Delphi developer. I'm heavy into Linux, so I'm of some sort of, I don't know what, bit of both, I think. I've been using Linux since last century, so yeah, that's been my main system. However, for work, I'm completely in the Windows world. I'm not biased to either of them. I think they all serve their purposes. Although I did some bash scripting as well. I think I don't know all of the different languages there, but I think each language serves its purpose, and I do believe that you should, if you are going to be programming, you should be doing it in a language that you feel comfortable with, but at the same time be open to anything else and try to learn. So that's what I'm trying to do here, and there are things that I'm more comfortable with, being C# than in this case. But on the other hand, the whole Kubernetes and even Docker is something I'm less comfortable with. So I know the basics, and we'll figure it out from going on from there. So, okay, meanwhile that one opened up. Let's just build, right? See what that. Yeah, it's all about learn. I think that for me, that is one of the things that drives me. I always want to be learning new stuff, and the more I know, the more I come to the conclusion that I don't know anything. So. There's just too much out there on the internet, and yeah, you can't do everything, I guess. So, but for me, learning is fun, and I love doing it, and that comes with a lot of hurdles along the way. But yeah, I mean, if you don't learn, where's your growth, right? So, okay. Apparently that seemed to build. That's cool. Let's try that same thing from command line. There is apparently, let's see, we gotta git clone and pull, we gotta run, we gotta publish for the .NET ones. So let's see if those scripts work. Let's do the build all. And try that one. Meanwhile, we can start browsing around, right? So we've got the DShop API, right? So here there are a couple of basic controllers, and they're probably going to a couple of headers set up, a single collection, send, accept, they're all protected, and a couple of page links, right? So we got a card controller, which is doing a send async for a certain command. Yeah, there's a command coming in. Right, and that's just gonna send a message to... It's probably gonna send that message onto the bus, right? Probably. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so they're registering a service forward of a certain interface, giving it a name. That's a custom one from them, right? Okay. Yes, and we do learn more and more, and then along the way you forget stuff. That's very true, Ancient Coder. Hopefully you forget the stuff that's not relevant anymore. Reduce the music, sure, I can do that. Ooh. I got it on 1%, so I should be completely turned it off now. Is that better? Let me know. Let's see. None of us really know what we're doing, and even if we do, we forget stuff and have to look up stuff all the time. Hey, that's where I think Google is or any search engine on the internet is. It's a great resource, the internet. I mean, I remember those. I started coding when you had to learn everything from books, right? Well, actually, my mic is on a full 100% here, so I have to turn down the head music. Okay, it's okay now. Yeah, volume is something I still have to figure out. I mean, this is the third stream we learn along the way, of course. So, okay, so this is an extension methods to forward that service. So that's probably coming from the common library here. And let's see. So a couple of extensions here. Yeah, I have to. The thing is knowing what to search for, always. So, and knowing what to search for, if you've been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 500 years, then yeah, you learn along the way. Very true. Let's see if we can find this. So that one is apparently okay. So apparently, based on the load balancer, they are going to configure another client and then use the forward service. So yeah, that's this one, and that's then just the REST clients passing on the parameters. Cool. For those of you who've been doing this for a long time, what's your secret to keeping yourself relevant? That's a very good question. I don't really have an answer for that one. I think that keeping yourself relevant is trying to figure out what is relevant. That's the first part. And I think that means that you should be tracking what else is happening in the development area and trying to keep up with whatever is happening. Read blogs, follow people, watch streams. I think the age of reading books is kind of over, although, well, at least the paperback ones. I know that one of a couple of older people. I know I shouldn't be saying older people, but they probably are. The ones that coded back in the last century, they prefer most of the time the paperback version. Yeah, go to meetups, talk to people. Sure, it's all about communication. One of those things, and I found that to be very, very, very true. It's Conway's Law. And that is so true. Let's look it up and what the actual definition is. So, organizations which design systems are constrained to produce systems which are copies of the communication structures of these organizations. And I found that that's a apparently very old statement. And that's so very true. Communication, 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 and see how you communicate. And I think that is the basis of not only software programming, but as well any type of designing systems. And keeping yourself relevant is getting into that communication and making sure that you're a part of that communication. And I think once you are and you know how to communicate with other people, then you can start getting involved. And as soon as you feel that you're no longer part of it, of that channel, and people start speaking different languages and different ways of communication, then yeah, sure, then it's up to you to learn that part and then getting back in. So yeah, how can I help? Indeed, helping out other people, and I'm stuck with this, my boss always wants that, etc., etc. Communication is a two-way thing. So it's not just you talking, it's also listening. Very true, Robert. Okay, so where were we? Did that one finish? That apparently finished. So let's have a look at the difference between this local all and this local multi-stage all. So what's the difference? That one is doing a build, and that's calling into the Docker build. Oh, each individual Docker build local, right? So if we were to look at this one, that is doing a tag with a local one, and then there is a multi-stage using the Docker file multi-stage. Okay. And that one looks like this. Use that as a build, and then putting it on the runtime with a couple environmental variables, and use that one as an entry point. And what's the difference with the multi-stage? That's a release version. That was not part of this one, right? No, it wasn't. So that's the production, the production build. Rest seems pretty much the same. Yeah, okay. So let's start with the local one, right? So it's going to be a Docker build all? No, Docker build local all. So I should be building a couple of couple of Docker images. And just before the stream, I did reset my Docker for Windows. Did a complete reset on this one, just to make sure that everything was fresh, and we ended up with complete empty one. So Shouldn't that have done more? I feel like it should have done more than that. Yeah. Should have gone through each of these repositories. Or at least the ones called services. So let's do a bash window. And call it from there instead of triggering it from the PowerShell one. Dev GitHub. It's gonna be ddef. GitHub. DShop. DNC. Yeah, and then one level deeper. Ooh. That's the reason why I didn't do it. Oh, it probably needs to be .NET built local as well. First, because it's probably outputting to a different location. Yeah, very true, Robert. We do need to keep open and being transparent. I think that's the only way to go. At least in most cases, unless you have a hidden agenda, and hidden agendas are always tricky. But you can't deny that. Most people do have them, somehow, some way. So try to stay away from it, but that's not always possible. Okay, so let's look a bit further. So basically, if I did understand it correctly, this is going to be the entry point of every API call that's going to come in from the outside world. And it's just going to take that message through one of these controllers, and then it's just going to send that message to the RabbitMQ probably, or no, through the load balancer depending on where it is, and forward that same message into the rest of the to the message queue, right? So that's there's a couple of dispatches there as well. Yeah, and that's a Swagger page, etc. and using console. So if I did understand it, there is a role on authorization which is fairly simple. Okay, so kind of makes sense. Building a next version of this one, and this one, the DShop common one, is a whole set of custom code, making it easier to have some common code that can be like logging, etc. This is more like an infrastructure part. And infrastructure in the sense of DDD infrastructure, not the actual AWS or Google or Azure infrastructure. Sometimes a word can be overloaded, like the word service, for instance. Luckily there are not too many of this. This is just saying how messages should look like. A couple of things on metrics. There's an extension for metrics. Yeah, and it's... So you can use just app metrics in your startup class and then configuring it that way. Okay, so how far are we? That one apparently did work, so can I now rerun this one again? Nope, it's not there. I'm probably running it from the wrong location because it's... Yeah, that's probably the case. Because it's not finding that. The build worked. And it did build all of those, right? Because we do have a bin, local release, etc. We have the output there. That seemed to work. The Docker one is calling a script Docker build local for each of the repositories. So it's going to cd into repository, that one, and it's this one. Yeah, I should be running it from this one, not that one. I should be running from this. Oh, I am. Okay. Oh. Wait a sec. That should work. Okay, so it's going to be the DShop.services. So let's look at the, okay, so that's DNC-DShop.api. cd into that one. And then call scripts build local. cd into that one, go back. So what does that work? Hey Limbia, how are you? Great to see you. But it is finding those. Oh, cool. Wait a minute. So it is finding each of those Docker files. It's just that. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. I'm starting to see where it's going wrong. Because this one doesn't, it does have a debug and a release output. But there's no Docker output. So I'm probably... the .NET builds. I need to publish. Yeah, okay, that's the one I'm missing. That's the one I'm missing. So let's go back to the scripts and see .NET publish all. That makes sense. So we did compile it, but we didn't publish it. That kind of makes sense. Okay, so let's, while that is doing its thing, let's go on and let's look at what other services they have. So they have apparently a customer service, an identity, that's probably to log in and handle the tokens, etc. Apparently they put their repositories and their domain, etc. in all one library, but since they're microservices, they should be fairly small, right? Okay, we got notifications, which is what's that doing? Let's look at the messages. Oh, that's due. Okay, that's to send email notifications, and that's more in an abstract. That's on the domain level notification. Okay. We get operations, which is probably to keep track of all the operations happening in, and here are the sagas, right? We've got orders, we got products, and we got Signalar, and Signalar is probably to send back a couple of events back to the UI and notifying the user. I do know that they have more repositories than these, because as you can see, there is no front end to this whole thing. This is only the back end. And if we look at the, that's a Kubernetes test from earlier. Well, the GitHub page for this, well, there are more GitHub pages for this one. So if you want to know where you can find these, it's all being served from devmentors.io, and I have a link to the their GitHub page, and if there are dev mentors at GitHub, and here are all the repositories, right? So you I think best start with the DNC-DShop one, which is just, and that's one I started from earlier, which is just a set of scripts, and one of those scripts is just clone all of the repos that are needed, and then you're going to get the backend part, which is the one I just opened in Visual Studio. The other one finished, so let's see what this one does. Yeah, that one looks better. Cool. And that's gonna build the local ones. Cool. So then you're gonna get all the repos, etc., but then you're only gonna get the back end of it. And I do know they started on a couple of other things, like you see we didn't get the discounts, which is the microservice that they started programming on the YouTube series, and by adding this extra repo in there, they introduced the concept of discounts in the whole story, and that's the repo they use to show you how to do it and how to use the whole framework. They do have a Blazor version that they're working on. Haven't seen that one in action yet. There's a couple of things on storage here. I have no idea what that's gonna be. Haven't seen that one either. And that's probably on... I have no idea yet what that's gonna do. There's the models, and is that in the concept of some ERP thingy? Probably. Yeah, we'll look into that one. We'll encounter it. And the ones on messages, and here there is a web version, which is, if I recall correctly, a Angular front end. Yeah, this is Angular. I did start it up earlier. You see, it's already quite old, and it's very basic. You basically can log in and that's it. But this is just, I think they used it to test the Singular and see whether that came back. Well, we'll add it. Okay, that seemed to have finished. Okay, cool. Now we got a couple of services. We got a couple of Docker images there. So what's next? So we get the we probably should be starting up a couple of backend services first. So let's go to the original DShop repo. If I do remember correctly, yeah, they have a couple of things on how to get started. Cool, so let's have a look. We need a Mongo, we need a RabbitMQ, we need a Redis. And there is a file there, which is the Mongo Rabbit Redis YAML file for Docker Compose. So let's fire that one up then. Let's demonize that one. Copy to D. And I'll need to start that one from the... So, where was it? DShop Compose, okay. So let's have a look what's in there. Oh, you're probably not gonna see that one because I'm in front of it. Created a network, starting up 3 different ones. Yeah, I would have to download everything now because as I said earlier, I reset my whole Docker for Windows environment to make sure it's fresh, but not too bad. Alright, so we used this one. So what does it do? Starts up a Mongo 4 with a volume. Don't think we specified any volume mounting, so whenever we restart those, we're gonna be losing the data, but that's okay for now. I don't care too much. At the moment, there's no mission critical data in there. And as I found out before, the the volume mounting in Docker for Windows is not all that bright. So, but eventually, if we're going to be running this on Kubernetes, then or whatever, or Nomad, or on any other system, it's probably going to be Linux anyway. So, and the mounting is going to be a bit easier. Or at least I hope so. Where were we? Okay. So we get that one up and running. So let's have a look. Wow. Okay. I should lose the eye. No. AQ, right? We got 3 ones running. We got Redis, RabbitMQ, and okay, so we got these. Cool. Next. That's good. Close that one up. We were here. Don't need that one. Don't need that one. That's the same one. Okay, let's have a look. So we got this one up and running. We'll probably also want Console, Fabio, and Vault. Okay. Just to be sure, does everybody know in chat what Console, Fabio, and Vault is? Or Mongo, Rabbit, and Redis, by the way. Just want to make sure. Where were we? Let's fire up these. You have no idea. Okay, cool. So, just to make sure, let's go back to this part. So, MongoDB is a NoSQL database, right? And that's what they use to store everything. And that's where the data is going to be stored. The RabbitMQ is a message queue service, which is it's a message broker, right? So it takes in a message, forwards it, and other ones can subscribe to it, or that's basically the idea. And Redis is a in-memory data structure source used as a database, and it uses strings and hashes, etc. Whatever you want to do. It's kind of like a caching backend. We'll see it appear in yeah, it's just a key value pair thingy, and it's very performant as it runs mainly in memory. The other two, the other three actually, being Console, Fabio, and Vault. 2 of them are HashiCorp products. Console is also key value pair storage. Well, storage is a big word. You can do network discovery, etc. for you, and that way it can communicate to other services where where other services are, so you don't have to configure every single microservice to point to the other service, so you don't hard code it in. You just ask Console for the configuration, and Console provides you and says, okay, you can find that service there, etc., etc. Vault is you can compare it to Azure Key Vault. I don't know the AWS equivalent of that one. Robert, you may know that one. It basically stores all your secrets and etc. So like connection strings and that kind of stuff. And Fabio is a load balancer. It's not written by HashiCorp, I know that one. I think in combination with, it's a console load balancing made simple. It's a library made by, it's a load balancer in code that you can be running, and it works perfectly together with Console. So it's kind of the equivalent what AWS and Azure etc. have, but this one you can run locally, run it in Docker as well. So that's what we hopefully we are running now. So that one looks good. So let's have a look. Oh boy, I still have to figure out what the. I only want to have the running ones. Oh yeah, but these are all running because my Kubernetes cluster is running. Let's close that one down. We don't need it for now. Can I stop it from here? Let's do it that way. Apply that. It's exposing all of those containers in the background. So if we do it now, yeah, that makes more sense. So we get console, Vault, Fabio, Redis, RabbitMQ, and Mongo running, and none of the actual DShop images yet. Okay. So these are all the background service thingies. All the little components are going to be, it's just like running a database, etc. But you have none of the code running yet. These are all the underlying things that you need. So AWS has two managed services for that, the parameter store and the AWS secrets manager. It's a little weird though. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head, I had to wrap my head around the whole Vault thing. The concept there is fairly simple, but it's a key value store with encryption as well in communication as at rest. And they also do renewals of, so for instance, what Vault can do is it can create users for you in the database, like temporary users, meaning that they create a user for an X amount of time and then provide you with and publishes those if you, well, not really publish. If you ask for those values, if you ask for a connection to a certain database, then Vault can create a temporary user in that database for you and provide you with the connection string that's needed, and it places that user in there for a certain amount of time. So you won't be configuring your database with preset fixed users in there, because all the users in there are going to be temporary. So that way you protect your database at that point from credential leaking. So if at some point one of your connection strings is compromised, that is not all too bad, because one, that user is only going to be there temporary, and on the other hand, you can revoke access to that one user at that point. The application is going to see that the user is no longer there. I'm going to ask Vault for a new connection string that's working, and Vault will provide you with that one. So, well, user in this concept is going to be database user, right? So that's going to be either a SQL Server user or an Oracle or whatever you have configured there. Let's look at Vault on HashiCorp, and they have a not only just key value, but also I think it's in the doc somewhere. Run Vault. They have secret engines, and they have secret engines for not just manager, secret engines, and they have it for databases as well. It's gonna be here. Operations development. come on. No normal search. Docs should be there. Nope. Yeah, and here under databases you can see, for instance, let's take, I don't know, MongoDB for instance. So you enable the database, you say I want to be using a certain key value pair under your particular database, and then whenever you ask for a connection URL, which can be looking like that, you provide it with a role. And how do you use it? You read your role, and it's going to be in the background, going to be creating a new user and machine vault token. And at the same time, first of all, it's going to be creating that one in the database, and then provide you with the thing that it created, and it has a TTL for that one. Yeah, HashiCorp's documentation can be painful, but again, communication. Asking only for interesting thought and discussion because I've been a few steps down this path. Yeah, I can imagine you investigated this part. But as you see, there are a couple of databases that they support, but there are other things like, I don't know, here's AWS, for instance, and you have IAM user, assumed role, and federation token. And basically you provide the root in Vault, and then, if I understood correctly, it'll create IAM users for you on the fly. Haven't tested this one out. Sounds interesting, basically. Okay, you write an AC to admin in there. Role to assume. Yeah, okay. So this one sounds interesting, actually, for the issue I'm having at work. So you put a role in there, and then Vault is going to be creating IAM users that can assume that role at the same time. Cool. That might be useful. Okay, as you see, we learn. Okay. So we got the Docker images for this one set up. Where were we? Let's have a look again at the dev methods. Alright, so we got the whole core infrastructure up and running. We can start, you can .NET run, etc. in the .NET one. Okay. And let's start to have no meaning whatsoever. Keep in mind that the API is running as a gateway. Okay. You can also build your own easily. .NET build, then .NET publish, which was the one we had originally. We missed that one. And we have a Docker Compose local one. So, and then we can inspect the network. So let's get that one up and running. Docker Compose local, which is that one. Let's have a look. Let's not do console and Vault at the moment. So which ones are we starting up? The API, the customers, the identity, notifications, operations. Okay. And that's all that. So let's Docker Compose that one. Should we doing the -d? Yeah, sure. Do. Okay, what did I do? Ooh, // Right. Nope. Missed something. Oh, missed the up. Okay, that looks good. And then let's see what we got. If we inspect that network. Okay. So we've got a DShop network in there with a couple of containers, product servicing, large service. All of that, RabbitMQ in there, Redis, Mongo, console, Vault, Fabio, etc., and the API. Alright. So let's try and hitting that API gateway. So there should be local. What's running on localhost 5001? Not much. What's my experience with AWS? Well, to be honest, for me it's fairly new. I think I do understand what it's trying to do, but I find it completely overwhelming, and even the most basic things to set up properly is pain in the star hash, exclamation mark, etc. Yeah, it's finding the right documentation is terrible. What we want to do at work now is start up a. Well, we got a couple of services that we have in Docker images, and we just want to have it up and running. And while you have the most basic, simple guides, and hey, here's the Docker image, and fire it up. The quick start is there. Yeah, sure, but to have something running in a stable way and secure way, then there is like, okay, here is a set of documentation and no best practices. There are a lot of quick starts on AWS, but I mean the same thing applies to Azure, right? I mean this or Google Cloud Engine. I mean there's no difference there. I mean it's basically just too big, and trying to find your way around it is, yeah, unless you know someone who is proficient in the whole cloud provider area, then yeah, it's a way bigger picture than just the plain hello worlds, right? Yeah, you need monitoring, health checks, deployment rollouts, all kinds of shebang there. And actually for that, there is no quick start, basically. So is that because every setup is different? Probably. But on the other hand, I mean, everybody wants, I think, you want to be doing what we're trying to do there is not that strange. Yeah, we need an expert, but the fact that we do need an expert in itself means that there's something lacking, right? A couple of things should be fairly easy, and easy in the sense of easy to get you started in a secure way. I mean, getting it Docker image up and running in AWS. Sure, here is the unprotected way. Here is the easy way, without any security, without any monitoring, without any health checks. Here's the manual deployment, and that's very nice to get a service up and running, but it just doesn't. There is a gap there. I feel there's a gap, and sometimes it just takes a little expert bump, then you smart people can take over with education. Very true. Up until now, what I've learned, I mean, Terraform for me was new, but I think I quite understand it, and I bumped into an issue fairly early on in the process there, where it cannot be something that I tried to do that cannot be done in Terraform 11, and I apparently have to wait until version 12 for something that I thought was going to be easy, but apparently it's not. I had to do something in lists on computed values. Apparently cannot do that. So there are a couple of issues open on that on the Terraform thing. But there were already a couple of Terraform scripts that work when I started, and tried to figure those out, and then I see yeah, I found a couple of workarounds for that issue. There were 3 that I found on GitHub. On the other hand, what I was trying to say is, yeah, we got a couple of Terraform scripts there, and if you see how they were written, and I'm like, yeah, is that the best practice? Feels like there should be a better way on that one. But what I found is that let's see if I can say this in a proper way. The thing that we're trying to do, automatic deployment, monitoring, multiple environments, at least 2, right? Let's start from there. We don't even care too much at the moment as we're starting up. We're not caring too much about the multi-zone high availability one. We can add that one later. We just want to get up and running now. If you then see what all the different steps that you need to take, and then I can't imagine that there's not someone who hasn't done this before. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary, and there are all these bits and pieces, and then you still have to figure out to get all those bits and pieces together, while the thing that we're trying to do is not something that I think is strange at any point. So there must have been someone who has done this before, and has tried to explain this before. What do you mean when no one really knows what is the ordinary? Well, I don't know. What we're trying to do is getting a couple of microservices up and running in the VPC, and have that monitored. EC2 was created 12 years ago. Really? It's already that old? Oh man, I must be getting old. I must be getting old. Okay. Meanwhile, while we were doing this, I noticed that streaming is slowing down your production process, or your proficiency. So we get that one up and running. Let's see if we can hit this one when we're trying to do that. We were running on the Docker Compose. Where is it exposing something? I should be exposing in 5000. This one is HTTPS. It's going to be hitting on HTTP. Okay, we got some reactions. So here we get the DShop one. So we don't have any encryption or whatever on there. It's automatically forwarding me to HTTPS. So this is a customer service. Cool, that's one that's up and running. That's the identity one. That's the notification service, that's cool. That's operations. So we get 5,000 and etc. with all different kinds of... That's a product service, cool, we get them all up and running. That's a Signal R1. And we have nothing on 5008. I feel it's similar to interviews where rather than just working, you're talking about through things which... Yeah, thinking them before you do, that is definitely something you need to consider. I find a lot of smaller companies first do and then think of what they've done. So okay, let's see what's in there now. Can we hit an endpoint? I know they have. Oh yeah, they use the intro thing in the next one. I don't think we need it. If I do remember correctly, they have a REST page in there somewhere. Was it on the scripts then, or was it on the API? It's gonna be in the API, I think. They were using this page. They were using a file in the series where they had the whole REST kind of question thingies in there. And I would have to search for that one. I don't know if it ends on rests. Let's see. No, it's not. The question is, where is it? I would have guessed it was here. So these are the images. I don't need that. But I do know that I... Oh yeah, and I undid it. Okay. Where is that? So these are just the scripts. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. Alright. And I do think they were using a... Yeah, it's enabled. So here are a couple of API requests that we can start using. A couple of settings in there, so we can send the requests, which is gonna be a bad one apparently, because we don't have the operation ID filled in. Cool. Let's sign up as an admin, right? So we get an email in here, a password, a certain role, We sent that request. We're going to be doing a sign up. Okay. HTTP localhost 2012. Okay. Because that one's already in use. Right. So let's sign in as that one and we use that password. It's going to give me an access token. Cool. Going to be copying that one and setting it here. Nice. So that's one done. So once we're authenticated, we get the access token and we update the one at the top. Right. So let's see if we can get any products. Now we're going to create a product here. Post to all the time against that same API gateway, which is then okay. So we get an extra resource. This is the products. Let's update that one here. We want a list of those products. This is the list of the products. Cool. Hi Brendonius. Thanks for the luck, man. Nice to see you there. Feel free to stick around. Okay. So we got a product list. We want that one single one. Yeah, we get that one out. That's cool. And we can delete it. We get an accepted there. So if we ask for the list of products, again, that was this one. That's going to be empty now. Cool, that all works. Let's get all the customers. There are no customers, so don't have any, so there's no point in asking for a certain customer ID. So let's do that now. So let's sign up as a user. That's just a post giving me nothing back, but if we sign in as that user, that's going to give me new access token. So let's grab that one. And comment that one out. So that's the access token of the, oh, it's capital T. So that's the access token of the customer. And we do get the ID here. So I'm hoping that's going to be the customer ID. So if I then ask for my details, which is going to be that one. No, we cannot get that one. I think we need to log in first. That's sign in as an admin. That's a sign up. We need to sign in as that user. Oh, we did that. We'll do that one. We did sign up, we did sign in. Oh yeah, but you need to be an admin to get these, of course. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Because otherwise, you... Alright, so I can then update my details. Accepted. Alright. I can add that one product to my cart. Cool. And I can see that the Okay, I got the shopping cart. Add some products, so I should have added this one. Did I fill? Yeah, I did fill in that one. Let's clear the cart. That one got accepted. Let's add some products to the cart. That one did get accepted. Product ID is filled in. I did update the product ID, right? Yeah. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. It's funny, I would have expected that to contain products in there. There are no orders because it didn't go to the checkout yet. And it didn't complete it yet. I can cancel it, etc., etc. But I can ask me. That's my ID. Okay. That's the identity service, so I can change my password, etc., etc. Okay, generate access token by updating the refresh token. Revoke access. Okay, so that's the identity service. Let's have a look. Pum, pum, pum. Maybe it might be good to show what the UI looks like for where the messages are going, and have a look on the what's in the database, right? So I'm going to be using the Robo3 connected now to have a look at the MongoDB. And it's not going to be running on that version. It should have been. We got the MongoDB running on which ports? That should be forwarding to 27 or 17. Oh, did it start up with? Network unreachable. That's funny. $27,017. $27,017. Okay. That's a bummer. So the Mongo was there. These are the ports, so it should be forward to localhost 2017. Let's make a new connection. Oh boy. Remove that one. Let's create a new one. Hi Freiburg. What are we working on? Oh, we're looking into the DShop code from devmentis.io, which they said should be a architecture for microservices in .NET Core. And they do have a complete. Do I have the link to devmentis.io? Where they also have a YouTube series, and now they are on episode 9, I think, which was quite interesting one on the distributed tracing and vault and logging, etc., etc. So yeah, and I do think their approach is, apart from the repo setup, rather clean actually. There's not too much extra code going on there. They provide a couple of extra extension methods, because most of the code is very specific to this web shop, they call it, which is going to be different for your own environment, of course. But it's more like a show off of what .NET Core can do, and the most important part is the common one here, where they configure everything together and then they use it in all these different microservices down here at the bottom. But the idea there is these should be very specific to your own personal architecture. I suggest, if you want to catch up on that one, is you watch the YouTube videos that they have through the website. So the whole, you can find them either here. Maybe I should post it in chat. So that's the YouTube series, and just as a reference. And where is it? Should go back. That's the website where you also find the YouTube link, the GitHub link. So they're at GitHub as devmentis. What's in the name? But I did find their series up until now rather interesting and quite original approach. This is not your typical .NET website, ASP.NET website. So yeah, they really looked into what all the different, what all the other people are using, etc. And I must say, as far as I've seen up until now, it looks very, very promising. So, why is this? I think it's not forwarding the port here. This is quite strange, actually. I would have expected this to be available on the I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Ports. Yeah, I did understand that one correctly. So I would have thought that localhost 27017 would have been available. And apparently it's not. So here it says a pull forward, right? So what am I doing wrong? Okay, where's the Mongo one? Here's Mongo. running on this IP. And I can't imagine it. I can be calling this one. That's not gonna work. I don't expect it to. Yeah, see? Oh, wait a sec. Nope. Not going there. There's no SSH, etc. As far as I know, we should be looking at that one. Is there a default authentication? Baked in. Let's have a look at the RabbitMQ one. Nope. That's not accessible either. That's strange. Service is still up and running, right? Yeah, it should all be there. Yeah, running on subnet, driver, blah blah. That's the bridge. Services themselves are individually accessible, since I can hit the 5000 one, the API gateway. Yeah, so that's accessible. So that says connection refused. That's cute. Can I get to the Redis? Okay, Len. Thanks for dropping in, man. I hope to see you soon. Yeah, this one is not... Seems like somehow they're not exposed. Because they are running. Oh, Ingress says false. That's cute. So... Can I access console, for instance? We're not using it, but the service should be accessible. Hey, thanks for the follow, Landbeard. Well, the thing is it exposed to the host? I would have expected it to, because the other ones are forwarding. If I look at the Docker PS, I see the original services are exposed. Each they're going to the 5,000 ones because all the microservices are running as 5,000 and they're exposed to different ports on the localhost one. And the same is happening for the MongoDB one. So it should be able to access it. Same for Vault and Redis and etc. They're all exposed to. So you should be forwarding the ports to the localhost one, and somehow you have to hit the port on the left. Yeah, but the numbers are exactly the same, left and right. What was I? You see, those numbers are exactly the same. You got 27017, same for this one, and the same for the console one, and those are not accessible, which they should be. And says can be reached. And I don't think that one is running HTTPS. Is it? No, it's not. So somehow those are blocked and the other ones aren't. Well, if I use this one, which is the this should be accessible as well, and it's failed to connect. Well, what I tried here on that one, that I didn't expect to be much, but this one I did, because that's console and that has a UI, and that's not doing anything either. And the RabbitMQ has a UI endpoint as well, which is that one, and that should have hit. Unless for some strange reason. Oh man, this is so stupid. Oh wait, this is IPv6. This is IPv6. How did that one happen? That's cute. Hi there, guys. Michael, Jolly. Nice to see you. This is IPv6. How can localhost be IPv6 when I'm connected to the Ethernet? So but still, that shouldn't do much. And that's probably the problem here. Okay. How do you turn that thing off? I don't want it. None on my local network. There we go. But blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I just turned off in this. Okay, great. So that's probably going to be under the adapter settings, right? If we drop out now. Hey, Michael John, thanks for the follow. Oh, that's even cuter. This network adapter doesn't even have... Look, it doesn't even have IPv4 sticks in there. This is the whole Hyper-V thing taken over. See, this one is connected to... Wow. Cool. Alright. So. Nope. That's still hitting the... That's a bridge to... That's probably not going to be working either. Yeah, I'm starting to guess here, that's not good. I should at least appear to know what I'm doing. And I shouldn't do anything either. And this I shouldn't be even using. I'm gonna turn it off anyway. So why am I getting an IPv6 address for localhost? System 32. Is there anything special in my what was it again? Drivers? Yeah. Let's see, localhost, and I know I need to be... That's not gonna work. But still. Nothing special there. And I don't want to be unplugging this one. Or be restarting it. Yep. I think this is indeed an IPv6 version. So, question now is, do I have to restart the whole thing? Probably no. Just uncheck these, right? So, yeah, blah blah blah. Okay, let's try my computer name. Nope, that was my IP, my local IP, right? Yeah. Oh no, 120. You know, this all the IPv6. I do understand they had to invent it because we were running out of IP addresses. But to be honest, I think it's a pain in the neck how they did it. As long as I can avoid it, I'd rather do it, really. And I know those people who invented it and engineered it, there are 7,000 times smarter than I am, but still. Question now is that indeed the reason why it's refusing to connect on that port? Because those things can only talk IPv4 instead of 6. This is the type of yak shaving that I hate, especially now on stream, because I cannot reset my connection, of course. Oh, wait a sec. Docker is using the Hyper-V in the background, right? I mean, this Hyper-V instance here is actually Docker running it. So let's have a look at that network adapter. That's using the Docker NATs. That makes sense, right? Okay. So on Docker NAT 1. We can't ping that one. Can we connect to that one directly? Kind of strange why it says network is unavailable. Or network is unreachable. We're still hitting the 5,000, right? Yeah, we're still hitting that one, and that is not, yeah, that's still up and running. Cool. Can we force it? We probably can. Let's have a look. Change that. Nope. If I start a new PowerShell. No, let's do it here. Let's do this one. Nope, still doing it. Even though I did set it in the host file to point at right IP. Yeah. That is very strange. Question now is, is that the reason why we're not hitting that service? Robert, are you still there? Because if you do, you're the... Oh, I shouldn't be saying this. You know a thing or two about Docker, right? I mean, if we expose it this way, we specify the ports, right? Same thing. Then I should be able to access it on localhost 27017, right? That's the whole idea. Regardless of whether the volume is mounted or anything like that, because if we use it this way, we pretty much do the same thing. Oh, wait a minute, there's quotes there. Does that matter? Oh wow, does that matter? There are quotes here around it. And there are none here. Okay. There are quotes here as well. Use service ports flag, but that's for the run. We didn't do a run there, right? Okay, indeed. Let's net stats. Keep forgetting TLP. LP on motion. Wow. That's a Linux way, right? Yeah. That's a lot. You see, I'm not a network administrator. That's the thing where you need to look up, right? Robert, you mentioned that one in the beginning, right? There we go. Same thing. That is cute. 5,000. Was it 5,700? I thought it was 800. Right, let's see. See the 27? It's not even there. See, these 5,000 ones are there. Those are services, but the 27 one is not. That's curious. So apparently there is something going on with kill that one. Probably should be using the... yeah, whatever is easier. We got rid of the queue and the reddest one. Kick him out. I want to try this one with the quotes. See if that helps. Strange, because I didn't run into this problem before when I first tried it. So there must be something that changed. So these one are the ones. Let's fire it up one by one, right? So that's the container. Does it work now? Let's go to localhost. Local. Yeah, that works. Wow. That was a pain in the neck. Okay, so we did lose the data now, of course, but that Docker compose thing what we did in the beginning started up an instance, but somehow it got confused. So let's do that one, and we do the Redis one at the same time. Okay, so we got these three running again. So let's try our requests here again. So let's sign up as an admin. Okay. So that one got kicked out because it's using, okay, let's just let's fire them up again. Because we kicked out the MongoDB one. Let's have a look. We don't need that one anymore. Wow. Why are you doing that? There are easier ways to do this, but yeah. I don't know those commands by heart. No, it's not remove. Stop. Come on. Man. Somehow my computer is really slowing down now. Yeah, that was the one I was looking for. So let's start over. Okay, I stopped it, so I need to remove them as well, right? Yeah. That kind of makes sense. Now let's see if we can connect. One, disconnect that one. Connect that one again. Yeah, there we go. Shop admin, etc. That's the customer service. That looks good. Okay, so we got the database. Cool. Do we have access to the Redis? Redis is running on see the Rabbitum Q1. There we go. Okay. I know they didn't add any extra protection to the RabbitMQ passwords, defaults, and I think it's defaults. Guest, okay. Guests. Okay. So now we can see the messages going to RabbitMQ as well. Cool. And the third one on that one was Redis, right? Okay, so which one was that? Apparently those codes did it for some reason. Does Redis have a UI? I have no idea. Didn't use it. Nope, there's no such one on that one. Can we do Redis GUI? Yeah, there we go. Didn't install that one, so. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a suggestion for for a Redis MQ one? Redis GUI. Yeah. You probably need one. See, that is the one. Yeah, boy. That's the same page I just ended up. This one feels familiar. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. So let's fire up the other ones that we already had. So that was Console and Fabio. Oh, wait a sec. They probably have the same issue, right? Yeah. If this is not working, I should be restarting those. Yeah, that is not working. Wow. So yeah, I can probably indeed just remove them. By typing the ID. Does that stop it but at the same time? I think it does, right? Where was... Yeah, I need the full names. No, I need A. So... Yeah, I need to stop it first. And then remove it. So we need to do the same thing too. And there is probably a way to do that in one go, right? So that would mean Fabio is now the one to remove, because that one was just easier. Yeah. Okay. So I can now restart this. If these come up now with their UI, oh wait a minute, I do seem to remember that. Yeah, let's do that one in the background. That looks good. I want to correct to Redis database on the default port, etc. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Save. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we got a UI for that thing as well. Cool. So now we can. That looks promising. Was this now on 700 for the UI? No, it was not. $8,200 for vaults. Let's have a look. Okay, Vault has the UI running. That's cool. Console UI was running on the web UI. Do I need to pass something extra there to get it running? /UI. Oh man, really? Yep, /UI it was. Okay, we'll make progress. So we got Fabio. I don't think Fabio has a web UI for it. Okay, so the token was yeah, the token we did have in this one, right? That's just a very secret token. No other ones. So we got second one and a couple of configurations, etc. But we're not using Vault and we're not using console, but yeah, we got those ones up and running. That's cool. We got RabbitMQ, we got MongoDB, and I closed the Redis. What was it called again? Fast Redis. So we can inspect those. Okay, so let's fire up the other one. The actual services again. That was that one. So then we should be able to see all not only the actual services passing there, we should also be seeing the background services react to the whole thing. So these are no longer valid. Start from the defaults. Okay, looks good. That one's 5,000, that's 5,002. That is up and running. Let's sign in as an administrator. Socket hung up. Bleh. Okay. close this one and open it again. Something is definitely slowing down. My PC, for some reason, I have no idea. But we'll see. Okay, so... once all the... yeah, it's going up to full 100% for some reason. And that's OBS, not much I can do about that. Okay, we'll see. Okay, sign up. Sign up. Come on, you can do it. Okay, that wasn't in use, so let's sign in. We got the access key of the administrator. So let's add that one. So we're signed in. Create a product. We should be seeing some messages on the RabbitMQ one. Oh yeah, here they go. Okay, cool. So we got connections coming in from couple of them, and here we got messages going at the whole different channels. Okay, exchanges, so we can have a look at identity there, for instance. Here are the queues. So these are all the different queues that are going on. So the signed in. We should be able to see. Nope, not now. Bam. I'm just fiddling around with this. So the refresh token. Would have expected. So signed up, signed in. Okay. Let's add that one. That's the product ID. So if I get the products. Yeah, the fact that my PC is like full CPU is probably not a good idea, and I think the fact that I only gave that Docker image 2 gigabytes. It's not the smartest idea either. So I got the product ID. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a different one. Save that. Now we got a single one. Okay. So now I'll update it. I should see messages going on the queues, right? Yep. Okay. Very nice. Browser customers. Yeah, the speed at which it connects now for some reason is incredibly slow. Okay, so this is our user. This is so if we want to sign in as our user, So now we are user. There we go, that's what I wanted to say. So now we can see some and here we see the messages going through. Yeah, okay. Very nice. This is what I wanted to see. Did we get the shopping cart? We can delete an item from the shopping cart. I just don't want to do that one more. Yeah, just add one more. And if we then get the cards, we'll get a quantity too. Cool. So if I delete one again and get the card again, that's completely empty. Let's add it back again and get the cards, and there's one in again, and fire another one and another one, and there should be 3 in there now. There we go. Okay, let it get a request of the orders. That apparently needs to spin up. No orders. Let's create a new one. That creates an order ID. Let's save that. Get the list. I did create an order, right? Nothing in there. That's the order. Curious. So that's the cards. I don't have any orders. So if I create a new one, the resource ID I get on that one is that. And that one for some reason is empty. So if I was to go to the local host, 5,000 orders, that one, That's cute. Did that in their service have the same issue? Not forwarding. The order service itself is running, so that should work. So why doesn't this one? Do what it needs to do. There was something not hooked up apparently. Because if you say it accepts that one, but if you then get a list of your orders, it doesn't do anything. That's strange. And I do need to be an admin, right? To be a normal user, because I cannot create an order. I can create an order. And I can get an order. Okay. Save that order ID. That is empty, and that is not found. So there's still definitely going on, something going on. There is an order with that ID in the database. Is that my ID? No, it's another one. Oh, sorry, that's the customers. So the users that are in there are these two. These two are in, so there's absolutely no orders. And the order service doesn't know anything. So in the customer service, there is one card, and it has an element in there. Cool, which is a product with a quantity 3. Okay. So let's go back to the administrator. Probably customer ID is not filled in. Did I forget to do that? Somewhere? As in to go to the checkout parts? That's my ID. Create a customer. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you need a customer account. Okay. That's a customer account. So you are a user, but that doesn't mean you're a customer yet. So now you're a customer. And you can send... Yeah, now we get 4 in there. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna delete. Create a new order, which gives me that ID, but the order service has a customer thing in there, but there's something going on. My product is that. That's not a problem. My identity thing is working. My card is working because that and that works. So 1 and 2 customers, etc. That all works. So my customer server is working. This one, however, is not. Because I do have a customer, but I don't get any orders. It says it creates orders, but it doesn't. Okay. So let's kill off. Let me think. Is that gonna work? We're not using console yet, right? No. We're not using console yet. So the thing is, if I kill that one, if I kill the local services one here, which is that one, and I was to start the services here in Visual Studio. So let's start a project and just run it like that. It should hook into that one. Does it? This is where the logging and the other part is. really gonna be helpful. But we need to get those extra things configured. This is where the Jaeger thing would really come in handy. But I don't think we enabled that yet. So yeah, figuring this stuff out is not, I mean, this is not just start up and debug and that's it. What do you think, chat room? Making any sense? And this is really slowing down my system, apparently. I'm really hitting something here. And now Visual Studio on top of it is not really making it better, so. Let's kill that one. I definitely don't need that one. The fact that I'm not seeing it appear in the database makes sense that I don't really I only get this one collection of the customer and that's it. So and this one's taken its lovely time to spin up. The whole thing is, I just want to make sure that we have a working application just before I start meddling with this whole thing, because otherwise, if it's not, then it makes no sense to put it in Kubernetes. I mean, if it's not working out of the box yet. So, okay, so that one's fired up. 5005 all running, great. If I now call create order, it does react, right? Yeah, create order, correlation ID, etc. Blah blah blah. End processing. Sending one to dictionary, handle one. Approve order. Handle the proof order. Okay. So if I say give me the order list on yeah, it's not hooked in the gateway. Oh boy. Yeah, it works locally, but oh, wait a minute. No, it should not. Because then this one shouldn't have worked either. So we get the cards. Wait a sec. I don't get that one. So that's a create one. Why? Does it say no such device or address? While orders create, that's a correlation ID, while that one okay, already has a pending order. Okay, that makes sense. So I get an order rejected event. Cool. But the get orders says there's no such device or address. This is a bug, definitely. How can... I posted the same URL, right? So why would... This is supposed to happen, of course, that makes sense. Okay, let's have a look in the database, see what's coming out here. So now I do have the orders. View the documents. That's the ID. This is the ID of the order. I got one item in there, it's not approved yet, etc. These are the items that are in the order. Cool, great. Why is this? If I create a new one, this order ID, yeah, okay. I do send a request, but the actual response, since it's command, it's not coming back. That makes sense. So the resource ID we're talking about is that one. But what's in the database? Is that the same one? For EF, etc. That's a different one. Which one is that? Do I have to, like... No, it's the same one. But basically, it's that doesn't make sense to make it a bad request. Now, the order ID I do have here is that one, F4A. Is that the one I've got in my database? No. The one I got in my database is this one. Now, that's the ID. Is that going to be that one order ID here? Can I now complete it? Order complete rejected. So I am customer 248 blah blah blah. Yeah, there's something fishy going on with the fact that I get a couple of duplicate IDs. My ID's that. And if I do cancel that ID, I do get that, but I get a cancel order rejected. Because it's not mine, because the ID that's in there is linked to previous ID of the customer, so it got mixed up. Okay. Makes sense. So let's remove all these and remove all these and remove all those. Let's make a fresh start. All gonna be empty. Nice. Okay, let's start again from this one. And let's sign up. And let's sign in. Now we're an administrator, and this is a token. Okay. So that's that one. And the token is that. Okay, cool. So now we're an administrator. I'm gonna create me new products. Gonna get me the list of the products. Cool. Get the list of the products, and this is the product ID. Overwrite that one. Yep. I've got, I'll update it, get the product again, get the list of products again, that's the ID, right? Yep, that's the one. So if I get it again, it didn't update it. Cool. Something fishy about that one. Yeah, still an administrator. Okay. So get the customers. DShop admin. Okay. I want to sign up a user, and I want need to sign in as a user, which is going to give me a access token. That one. Okay. So this is my current. Now I'm a customer. No, I'm a user with customer rights, right? Okay. So signed in. I'm gonna create me a customer account, which is gonna be that one. Save it. So now I got a customer. I signed up, I signed in as a normal user. I created a customer account. I add some to my shopping carts, which is identity 1. I do that again. I get the shopping cart. It's gonna be 2. Cool. Total price, etc. I'm gonna create an order. We're gonna see this one. Great order discount, thank you. I'm gonna give me the list of orders. Damn! Still not there. So that's the order. Copy that value. No such device or address. I even got the discount thing. Oh, wait a sec. Complete? Yeah. So that was the order ID. Okay, wait a sec. So the order ID with that one is not the one that I got back. So the order ID should be, yeah, that one. So if I do a complete now, still in the creative state. It's still in the creative state. So for some reason there's yeah. still think there's a bug in there somewhere. But I think if I look at how much time I've been up, and that's for a good 3.5 hours already. So I think that I'll keep it now for what it is, and I'll research this one off stream. Are there any other people online at the moment that we can read? Yes. Let's have a look. Oh, Talk to the Gooseman is still online. We can give him a little raid there, and hopefully I'll see some of you back like next week. Apparently I'm streaming during the weekends, and apparently Saturday's a rather good day. For me it's 6 AM by now, so maybe I think it'll be a better idea to stream a little earlier than this. But still, yeah. I think maybe like somewhere in the afternoon would be a good one. Well, the afternoon for me, so that's GMT +1 I think we're on now, as I live in Belgium. So that'll, well, if you would say 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that would be like noon for some of you in the States. So that's fair and reasonable, I think, for most. And yeah, if we can, I think Saturday might be a good idea. Yeah, not like 2 AM like today. Is it already 2 AM at your place, Ancient Coder? Yeah, might be making a little late. I'm in Europe, so for me it's 6 AM now, so it wasn't all matter. But yeah, well, I don't mind doing this. I mean, this is fun, right? So we created a problem here, and I really want to figure out what's going on here. And I think setting up that logging and Jaeger and that kind of stuff, then... Oh, you're just 1 hour behind. Okay. So getting the logging up so we can see what's going on in the system, Jaeger with the distributed tracing, etc., etc. If we can get that one up and running, then we can have some overview of what's happening in the system, and then that makes it a little bit easier to track this one down. And also we don't have any debugging at the moment set up, so and I want to do that before we start using console and Vault. We got the instances running, but we really want to have that extra logging so we know that we can verify whether everything in the system is up and running. So yeah, I think we got a good start. I think we maybe pull in the latest code. I think we did, right? But some of those are gonna be, I think all of them are gonna be on master. Maybe we should switch to the development ones. Maybe some of the things didn't get merged in yet. We'll see. We'll investigate, and if all goes well, I should have a running system, or at least a running DNC-DShop by the time we start the stream, and then we can start adding Vault and console next time. And if that one is up and running, and Fabio, and if we get maybe even the Prometheus one, I think by then with the Grafana, Influx, and Prometheus, that should give us some nice dashboards there. If we get that one up and running all together, then we can start seeing. We can see how we can start moving those compose files and translate them to either Nomad or. Apparently, they were planning on doing something like, what was that? README file. they had they planned on doing something with, they call it, with Rancher or Portainer. So maybe those two are something to look at as well. Those are, Portainer and Rancher are two orchestrating services on top of Kubernetes. But we do have a Kubernetes running here in Docker for Windows in this case. So I want to see whether we can run it on that one little single node that Docker for Windows is offering us. And if so, if we can deploy it to a full Kubernetes, full in the sense of, I might have mentioned it last time, I have on this machine 3 virtual machines running which are connected to each other, so we can do that one. We then might talk to Rubber Tables, for instance, and see how we can get this thing running on AWS or maybe Azure. But first we need to know whether we get a working system and whether all those things and all the working components work. And I definitely want to dive more into the code of this whole thing, and then more especially this common part here, which is the whole plumbing that makes this work. Because today we only saw what's the whole thing can do and what it does, which is rather basic. We can create products, we can make a cart, we can shop, we can then create an order, and then apparently we can't get that part working, which is pretty much almost the end. And I should be able at some point complete the order, which means I do a cart checkout thing and I actually pay for the stuff. So that's the idea. If that works, it's a really strange message. There's a routing issue, it seems to me. But okay, we'll figure it out, and then yeah, then hopefully we can start from a fully functioning system next time. And should be exciting. Okay, great. Thank you all for sticking around, and if it's all good with you, we'll do a little raid to Talk to Me Gooseman. We'll see. Do you guys do that from the dashboards or from, let's see, Talk to Me Gooseman. Yeah. Good morning to you too, Ancient Coder. Hope to see you next time. Off to bed now. Okay, sleep tight. Okay, let's see if we can do a little raid there to Talk to Me Gooseman. I'm just gonna cheat and copy his. He's definitely still on. And that should work if I go and do that. Okay guys, see you later. Till next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.